All right. All right. What's up? I think we're good. It says over here that we're good.
I got YouTube open and it still just says waiting.
Oh,
It
yeah,
takes
there's
it's a
that
little bit
delay.
of
Oh
a
no, we're
delay.
live. We're live for sure. I got it on the preview. We look great.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. What's up, gang?
I'm gonna tweet out we are live. Joe, just tell us when we're live.
We're live on mine.
Incredible.
You guys will have to forgive the rustiness of us trying to figure this out. We appreciate the love. And
Yeah, what's
support.
up, everyone? We're gonna wait like 2 minutes before we actually start the show in order just to let people filter in who are not here. So if you see the "We Are Live" tweet on MIR97, go retweet it so people know. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, if
So you
you're in
already did
here,
that.
you should be not in here. You should actually be retweeting the tweet saying to get in here, um, and also sending it to your parents. Thank you, Chris.
And your mom's. Yeah, wondering what it's gonna look like when we call someone in. We'll
Hell
find
yeah.
out.
Guys, and a reminder, please, if you want to talk, you can go join the Discord. But we won't necessarily be monitoring that chat. So if you want to chat, make sure you're in the YouTube chat. Um, yeah, that's where all the peeps will be. We'll give it another minute, Matt, and then you want to roll.
Yeah, a minute too. Yeah. Looks like excellent connection. Picture looks okay.
Yes, sir. Dropped frames
Joe,
0.0%. Look at
Yep.
that. Somebody's got good internet.
shout out you, John, for having. I would not be able to host this. So, can I put this live YouTube link and will it like? I feel like it like supposed to show our video. You know?
What?
I don't know.
All right.
I do not know,
Are we
brother.
even going to get an MLS Centel? I mean, like, there are plenty of MLS bullshit, like, shitpost pages, to be fair.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know if we're big enough to have a Centel page, to be honest. It's like, why isn't there an MLB Centel? It's like, well, do people care? Like, I love baseball. Do people really care that much?
All right, I'm ready to go whenever.
Is John going for the Tom Bogert look? Tyrus, what is that? Tom, I was doing this long before. Actually, I wasn't. That's not fair. We've had the mustache the same amount of time, and I just grew my hair out. So, but yeah, I want people to think I know what I'm talking about. Need to look the part.
John Bogart.
All right, Matt, you ready?
All right. Yeah, hang on. I'm just pinning this. We are live, and I'm gonna go pin it on Instagram real quick. So give me. Never mind. I'm not gonna do that. They know their shit.
Oh, also,
All right, we're ready. Go ahead.
oh, preliminary shout out. Don't try to get ads in the hot takes questions. No free ads.
Yeah, fuck your ad, bitch.
Unless it's Revolution Brewing, then free
Yeah, unless it's
ads.
like somebody cool, then we're cool with it.
Yeah.
We're
All
bad
right,
timing
okay.
right now.
I'm gonna start the intro. What's up, everyone in chat? We are recording this, and it will be posted on socials later, which is why we're gonna do an intro. So feel free to spam hi chat or hi Spotify or Apple when I inevitably end up doing an intro. But thanks for being here. Like John mentioned before we record, if you want to speak, go to the Bridgeview stage in the Discord, which I actually thought I pinned here, but evidently I didn't. So let me do that real quick before we.
Or just feel free to get your takes off in the chat and we will talk about them, but not until we say, hey, community take time. Otherwise, I may forget about it and I don't want to forget about it. So,
Yeah, word. All right, let's kick this off. Thanks everyone for being here. If you know people that should be here, tell us. All right, boys, ready?
ready.
Born ready.
3, 2, hang on, 3, 2, and 1. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hot Takes with the Boys. This time we are live, but instead of being live on Discord, we are live on YouTube. YouTube.com/Men in Red 97, because that's where our YouTube is. And we're super excited to be here live. We got a studio audience right now, people in the chat, and I'm sure everyone will be listening on Spotify, Apple Music, and or YouTube if you can't make it, because that's why we record these. My name is Matt, and I'm honored to be one of your hosts today. And I'm joined by the All-Star crew. I'm joined by the Hot Takes crew, starting off with my co-host, John. John, how are you today?
We're good. We're good. The pain of last week has subsided, and it's a brand new day.
It's a brand new day indeed, and it's a good day. It was a tough day at work for me personally, but I'm happy to be here with you hosting these other two hooligans into the world of fire. Speaking of these hooligans, I want to briefly say hi to Joe. Joe, the legend. How are you today?
What's up, buddy? Oh, I'm doing swell, let me tell you. Our Lord and Savior, Frank Klopas and Sparky, have blessed us with a beautiful day to talk about the Chicago Fire and talk about how wrong this man next to me or somehow Kitty Corner is wrong. He's an idiot, and we'll get to that.
Wow, I love that. First off, you call me buddy, which is like my trigger word, and then you just start antagonizing Paul and or John. I couldn't really tell off the
It's
bat.
John.
So John, got it. That makes it. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. And rounding out the crew, we have Mr. Paul. Mr. Paul, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. Happy to be here, guys. I don't think I can top Joe's introduction there, so I'll just pass it back to you.
Yeah, and just to remind, but I failed to do that today, and I apologize for that,
Scared
Paul.
me there. You scared me.
Yeah,
You really
I'm
scared
sorry.
me.
Go Rangers. Anyways,
Whoa.
this is hot takes, so it's a little unique, a little more unique of a concept compared to our bonfire and quick fire shows. Rather, how bonfire works is specifically different. I can't talk right now naturally as soon as we go live, but you are able to submit takes via Google Forms about 2 weeks beforehand, and you're also welcome to call in live on the show. So for those listening in the YouTube audience, although this probably won't apply to next time, if you want to call in, join our Discord and request to speak, John will let you in or won't let you in, depending on if you're a good or bad person. But hopefully you're all good. And if you don't want to speak, you can submit your questions on the Google form beforehand, or just chat shit in the YouTube chat as well, because that's the place to be right now. Other than that, that's pretty much hot takes. We'll be coming out at the end of every single month, around the end of every single month, and we'll be rocking and rolling. So, real quick before we get into the takes, I want to go over the Columbus recap, because although John's over it, the emotion of it, I'm not incredibly over it, and we have to talk about it to some extent, and we will talk about it to some extent. 4-2 loss. We're not good at playing out of the back. We know this. We talked about it on the bonfire. The Guti dream was there, which we'll definitely talk about. The Sergio Orhel MLS debut nightmare was very present. He did not have a great performance, and Greg Berhalter has confirmed that he will be starting, or at least playing Saturday, but most likely starting due to a lack of midfield depth. We saw the power of Bamba. Dude's going to be a dog. I tweeted out 20+ assists. I truly believe it. And it was a pretty quiet night from the other winger in Zinkernagel, so we're really going to have to see him step up if we want to get 3 points against DC. Final little note from the game is actually from a player who didn't even make the roster, and that was Mr. Chris Mueller. He had a baby. So congratulations to him and his wife and his family on a brand new baby. It's always incredible to welcome in new members of the community, if they're here for 5 years or if they're here for 20 years. Doesn't really matter to us. Now that we got all that out of the way, because the Columbus crap is bad mojo, bad vibes, the first thing I want to do in this episode, before we get into the host hot takes, is roast the shit out of John for his take last week. Because my God, if you don't remember, if you weren't, or not last week, last month, if you weren't here, and I know Joe will follow this up quickly, he roasted the crap out of Goody. And I admit, like, I kind of partnered in him with that, but like he roasted the crap out of Goody. And I just want to look you in the eyes and tell you that he heard you. He read the texts. He saw the news headline. He heard you. And I'm just going to let Joe go off real quick because it really pissed me off.
You are such an idiot. Like just on top of this take, right? I mean, it's like, look, I'll put some take out there, talk straight out of my ass, and then contradict myself 5 seconds later. And even those takes are still better than the incorrect, historically bad takes that you have. And sure, did you have all references before to go off of? Yes, but he heard you. He was like, fuck John, fuck his mustache, fuck his Polaroid cameras, fuck all that hipster shit. I'm going to score on these motherfuckers. And he did it. He did it, and you're an idiot, and you have terrible takes, and you are now officially the worst taker in Hot Takes crew. Sucks to be you, buddy.
I don't know about
John?
that. I don't
Yeah,
know
John,
about the worst.
No, I'm not letting you interject before I get my turn, bitch.
The worst part of this was just Paul's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm really glad
that's
I
just
made.
really bad.
Yeah, I'm glad I made this show not safe for kids because although like we like to have a fun time on the show, Joe is a perfect example of why we don't recommend you bring your under 18-year-old or under 12-year-old, 15-year-old, however, whatever age it is appropriate to start swearing. I don't know.
Getting a little
But
too
John,
specific
yeah,
with the age, Matt.
yeah, whatever. Do you have anything to say in defense of Joe's remarks or my comments or Paul's comments or the slander in general?
Look, I think from my perspective, right? The trend was there, and now it's kind of like every LeBron needs his Skip Bayless, you know? So I haven't quite decided if I'm just going to double down yet. I do think there's a strong, I truly, I did not expect the gravity that Jonathan Bamba would have, right? And watching that game, it was clear like Gucci's going to eat at the top of the box. Like if he can continue to convert those, which there's a Patrick Schulte component to this and that he's bad. If he can convert consistently from the top of the box, he might lead the team in goals. Because if Kuipers can draw the two center backs in and those midfielders don't trail, like he's going to be open just to get shots off all day. Okay, what, Matt? What?
I just got to say two things. One, you made a metaphor comparing Gucci to LeBron and you to Skip Bayless, and I thought that was hilariously awful. And two, I love this flip flopping from when you went, oh, this guy sucks, to, oh, by the way, he might lead the team in goals in less than a month. And honestly, shout out Gucci. If you can prove John's theory and takes to be incorrect, then you did a good job of shutting up the rest of the haters as well. So
Look,
Yeah, all credibility you had, John. All credibility you had, John, is just smashed like a candle in the night.
look, this is just basic like scientific method, right? I had information, I made a choice. I got new information, I made another new, I made another new direction. Like that's all this is. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of
You made an educated wish.
what?
Great noise.
Okay, well,
that was an incredible
all-
noise.
Let's okay. Yes. Okay, I was wrong. For now, we'll see if that plays out over the whole of the season. If nothing else, you all owe me because I clearly motivated him. But let's also look at the other side of the coin here, the other side of the field, right? Because Joe, didn't you say Chris Brady was going to lead MLS in clean sheets? And then like
It's the
14
first game.
minutes into the game,
Relax.
he's giving away goals.
Relax. Hey, that was Sergio Orhel's fault.
Are
You're
you
not gonna
passing
tell
to
me any
Sergio
different.
Orhel
You're
there
not
if you
gonna
have the
tell me any
ball?
different. You're not going to tell me any different, buddy. You shut up with that. Stop passing the buck.
I love how this is the first like real beef we had on the show. It was due at some point. The show's designed to piss each other off, but the John Joe beef is real time. I am gonna put a poll on MIR97 pods after this, and I'm gonna leave it up for like forever. Asking, are you Team Joe or Team John? Because on one hand, both of you, or not on both hands, both of you have really bad takes last week, and so I'm hoping that as we get into these host hot takes, that our takes are hot, but also like not incredibly garbage, like the Brady and Guti talks, or not talks, takes, my lord, of last week. So I'd love to kick things off with some host hot takes, if that's okay with you. Joe, John, did you get everything you needed to say out of the way?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Well, if you guys have more to say, we'll get to it. There's a lot of takeaways from opening day, and I figured I'd kick things off because, like you mentioned, John, that's what I have a tendency to do. My biggest takeaway of the day, which I don't think is a hot take at all, merely an observation, is Berhalter ball will take time. And I saw someone tweet out not even like 10 minutes before we started this saying, why do we have to wait for Berhalter ball to take time? San Jose's Bruce Arena won 4-0 in their first game. And valid point, but this is a system that's not going to be perfect overnight. You're playing out of the back style when you have a rookie midfielder who's developing his like right in front of our eyes. His first game against a great team, of course, it's not going to be successful. So you have to be a little patient with the process. You also have to let our players get healthy. The other big takeaway, which I already mentioned, was of course Bamba. Bamba. Jonathan Bamba. Dude's a dog, and we're very blessed to have him. And although there's been a bunch of really high caliber MLS MVPs, really high caliber, not MVPs, people that have come into the league, Jonathan Bamba should be one of the cream of the crop. One of the what's the saying? Part of the cream of the crop? Yeah, we'll
the
go
crop
with
of the
that.
cream, actually, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The cream rises to the top. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Yeah.
gonna rise to the top. But that's my biggest takeaway, and I'm looking forward to hearing yours to see if there's anything that we disagree on.
Yeah, I think for me, it's actually what I said before, right? It's Guti is going to have room to operate, and I think I underestimated like the amount of pull that Jonathan Bamba was going to have, and even an injured Hugo Kuipers, right? Like just the pure amount of space that he has. If Kuipers makes any kind of run down, Bamba's going to draw at least his fullback, if not that near side center back with him, because he's just that. Clearly, he's just got it. Like I don't know what it is. He's just got it. And I think there's a real high possibility that 2 or 3 times a game, Guti's going to be able to tee up from the top of the box. And if he can be accurate with that, if he can beat the keeper consistently, that's where I think those huge goal scoring numbers could come in, and those huge assist numbers for Bamba could come in. The other side of the coin, and we joke about Patrick Schulte. I generally am not super high on him as a prospect in the men's national team perspective. Two of those were like howlers, like went between his legs bad. So I mean, you're going to get some of those, right? But like, I think over the course of the season, you could easily see him, like I said, just have 2 opportunities up there every game, which if you convert on 30% of those, that's a fucking ton of goals compared to a guy who scored, 4 goals last year? Something like that. So yeah, that's mine.
And before we get over to Joe and Paul, in order to halt all the good momentum that you're developing with these like perfectly clean takes, someone in the chat reminded both Joe and I, and we haven't got to it yet, to chat with you about your Chris Mueller take.
It's in here. It's Matt. Did you read the outline? We'll talk about it.
It's in here. I'm gonna hold my thought. I didn't even see it. Okay, I just work here.
Please.
Sorry,
Please.
Paul. Go ahead. Go ahead, Paul.
No, it's
Sorry,
Joe's
Joe.
turn.
Go ahead. Whoever. I'm so rattled right now.
Yeah, so I mean, I just think similar to what I think the thing with Goody is going to be if he can figure out this year how to stay on his feet. That's a whole other thing too. And like again, he played physical and got a red card technically, but like if he can stay on his feet and play physically, that's going to be a huge step in that direction. But I also think possession and depth is going to be what kills us. I mean, I think if you look at the squad they put out on Saturday, it was so much look like a middle end of the season starting 11 and bench where we have nobody. Where it's literally, I mean, we had to take out Kuipers because he wasn't match fit yet, and then who else do we put in? Jonathan Dean was a liability the entire game, but we really couldn't take him out and replace him with anybody.
Can we just pause?
There's that.
Jonathan Dean was not the problem in that game. He's not great, but he was not the problem last week.
He was one of the many problems in that game.
He was problem number 6.
6
Problem.
out of
That's a problem.
He's still a problem.
But that means there's
problem.
5 bigger problems. Let's just put that in perspective. Anyway.
No, they're
sorry,
all
continue.
equal problems. He was one of the problems. But again, and it's also when you look at and it goes to what Matt was saying about how Gibraltar ball is going to take time. It's really hard to see that. And again, it's only the first game, but it's like when you see possession, we're gonna play out of the back, we're gonna do all that. And what did they have at the end of the game? It was like 37% possession. And it's like it was awesome seeing those goals go in really quick, and it was awesome to see them like look dangerous at times. But it looked a lot like last year in those points where we're turning it over. The difference is we're getting into the box and making chances, but we're not staying there. We're instantly running back on defense and burning everybody out. And that's where our black line without, Rafa is really, I feel like not having him there, it was one of those games where it's like we didn't have him on those, times where he just run back there and be that brick wall that we would need sometimes. I feel like that would have saved, and then even him playing out of the back would have saved probably at least one of those goals.
Yeah. Paul, can I add on to what Joe said really quick before you go? I was listening to the Soccer Wise show today. They went live earlier, and I can't remember for the guy's name for the life of me, and I feel awful saying that. Like, I feel awful like he and I. But anyway, and made the comment of like this game, as bad as it was, feels similar to the first season of the Crew under Nancy Ball, right? Or Nancy Ball, where it was like, yeah, that was bad. Like they played Philly, who was peak Philly, like really really awesome, and it was like they got killed, but there's something there, right? They're not just getting killed. They're just not proficient in this system yet. And to what you said, Joe, like it looked like last year. I think last year, game one may have been the best game we had, right? Like there were more fun games, there were games we won, but like that may have been the most good we looked. This I feel confident will be the worst game we see, if that makes sense. I mean, this week
No,
might be worse because
you're right.
Guti's out too and we're so thin, but like I don't think we're getting worse this year.
No, and that's the thing, and I agree with that. It's not that I think like it's. I'm saying where it looked at points of the games last year where it's like we something wasn't working. We didn't have anyone to rotate in. That's more what I was talking about with that. It was just, and then like when we weren't possessing the ball. Like I felt like in that first, you know, like around the time of those first two goals, even around it, we were possessing the ball great. We looked dangerous every time we touched the ball. And then like as we got tired and as things weren't working, it was just kind of, that's what I meant by that. But I definitely think I'm not down on the Fire this year. Like even though we lost, like that game was still, it was a fun game to watch. Like I don't think I've ever watched the Fire get blown out and had as much fun watching them, because it was simply like having Bamba and Goody and going. There was that opportunity for it to just explode at any time, which we didn't have last year.
Yeah, Paul, all you, man. Your
Uh-oh.
mic is off, Paul.
I
Oh,
hate
you're
this
back.
fucking mic. There we go. So you guys know I was at the game. It was quite an interesting one to be at, taking it back to the Johnny Dean bashing. Whenever he was on the ball and getting pressed, you could just tell from the reaction from the Columbus fans that they knew he was the worst player in the pitch, and they knew that if they pressed him, they were getting the ball back. So every fan in the stadium knew that, and there was at least 40% of them were under 16. So even they were at their young age could see how bad Johnny Dean was for that game. That he was, I think personally, Turan was worse. Just putting that out there. But to get back from my biggest takeaway from that game, one of my biggest frustrations from the previous Fire games, especially with Shaqiri in the midfield, was just how slow we were in transition. Once we won the ball back, it was just always a slow build up. We never hit quickly, and we never really got the teams pinned back like we did. We had Duran. It was probably the last time that happened. So I was really happy to see that when we won those balls in the midfield, we intercepted the ball. We were quick, we were fast, and we just hit them. That broke down once Columbus back line kind of dropped back a little bit more. The one concern it did raise for me was how slow we are defensively in the transition. Just about every goal was just from losing the ball and just not reacting. I mean, there was a few of them where there was no time to react, but that's where you kind of need to put the work in.
Good point, Paul. And all I have to say before you transition us to our next take is you mentioned Carlos Turan's terrible performance. And my official take for the record is he is the most overrated player on the team. I'm sick of people thinking that he's like a quality prospect. He's no longer a quality prospect. He's outgrown that phase of his career, and he's mid. And I'm absolutely petrified to think that he's probably going to be guarding Christian Benteke on Saturday. That really scares me. Back to you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Love you.
That's another concern for me. I think I put it on the plan for later on. It's Benteke's going to smoke him if he loses Benteke the way he did for Rossi for that go-ahead goal before half-time. He's just going to get absolutely destroyed, and I'm really worried about that.
Any adjustments you want to see, Paul?
Any adjustments? It's hard to say really because we've got a lot of players missing from that game. It wasn't the full Greg Ball squad that we're expecting. Really, I just want to drop Turan. I think we need to move on from Turan. I agree with you, Matt. He's overrated. He's flattered to deceive multiple times. He looked good with a competent Rafa next to him. He kind of got shown up a few times last season. Once Rafa's form dropped out, I think we need to start looking at other options. And I wouldn't be against using the other DP slot to fill that position because it's so important to this team. If we're going to play out from the back, we need a good ball playing centre back there. And we're not confident in Turan, so put some money in there. If that's how you're going to play, put the money in there.
I like it. I'm not opposed. I never thought about using that center back spot for the last DP, but since he did it, and they have a good system, so maybe that's
LAFC done
actually
it with Killian, right? Didn't they do that?
yeah, something like that. Wow, that's
It was like a
crazy.
short term one that won them. It won them the MLS Cup, and then he went on his merry way.
Yeah, Joe, any adjustments you want to see?
I would say again, it's just gonna have to like really working at the keeping possession this match because we got to keep the ball out of Benteke's feet. Like he will torch us if we let him. And then the other thing, and this is very minor, but if I feel like not forcing us to play out of the back if it's not working. If the adjustments aren't working and it's not there, maybe just booting it into the middle again or like mixing it up, like getting really predictable. They're just going to push up and press, and that's just kind of what I felt like I saw through the game. Like I'm happy they're trying it, but like if it's not there, like don't force it.
Fair,
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah, super reasonable take. Obviously, you want to sit the ground, but like you got to have something. You gotta have a second gear. I think mine was like somewhat similar, right? I think the first was don't leave the game with subs in hand. Like I get how thin the bench is. You can't look at that 90-minute performance from Carlos Terran and say it was worthy of being 90 minutes long. You can't. I don't care if you have to bring in Christopher Cups. Like I understand we're week one of a new system with a new coach. I get that, but I also I don't know. There is a perspective for me where it's like you can't look at what that game was and say you get to keep playing now. Like that blew me away that we didn't see Sam Rogers, that we didn't see anybody come in and take over for. I agree with you guys. Like his biggest liability. Maybe he won't be moving forward, but like in that game, him and Sergio Orahel are the reason we lost. Like candidly, maybe Chris Brady owns a little bit of that for his passing out of the back because it's not very good. He's still working on it. But I think he was still the biggest. And then the other one was really just need to see better changes in the second half, right? There wasn't, Joe, to your point, like there wasn't any second gear. Like, and maybe that comes in the first half. Like we need to play more long balls and just move the ball a little bit more so it's not quite as predictable. But yeah, they were really clearly just teeing off every time Tehran touched the ball, every time Orahel touched the ball. It was very easy for them to just attack, win the ball quickly, and put Brady under a lot of pressure.
Danny in the chat says, I was witness. John was shocked Carlos Tehran played all 90. So that's, yeah, you were talking about it with us too. A lot of other people agreeing with Paull on this whole DP defender thing, which is really interesting to me. And I hope Greg is listening because clearly we know better. Yeah, right. Adjustments on my end. My official stance, it's like it's difficult to make adjustments when half your starters are gone, because you're so limited by the pool that you're not allowed to play the game you want. So I guess I don't really have an answer. I mean, the one adjustment is Sam Rogers should make an appearance this game, whether they're down, whether they're up, because it is bizarre that he didn't play. But we really don't have many impact players off the bench, many impact players that could come in and step in on the starting 11 just because we're so thin. I think adjustments change, back when Marin and Kwame and Guti's back and Barroso's also in the picture taking over Dean's spot. This is a game where you should play the style that you played against Columbus and have better success. We know that's how Wilfred Nancy's teams operate, is to like beat out Berhalter ball. And DC's a weaker side. We know that, and that's no disrespect to DC, but it's just a fact. So that being said, my expectation for the home opener tomorrow is a win. I feel like all of us are going to be consensus on that, but I'm going 3-1. Or excuse me, I'm not going to hold that prediction because we're going to talk about that in a bit, but I just said it 3-1. But yeah, we're going to win. That's all that matters. John?
Yeah, I think lots of goal opportunities, like tons of goal opportunities, tons of shots on target. And if the over under for this game is 4.5, smashing the over. Like I would be shocked if both teams don't score multiple goals. I think we probably, in a Fire win scenario, it's 2 or 3 very early goals and then just play keep away for 60 minutes. To your point, Matt, like if Benteke gets the opportunity to kill you with his forehead, he will do it 100 times out of 100, especially against this back line. Joe.
I think it's going to be a much more solid game. I think, like I said, I think the first game, like we said earlier, was more of like a fluke. I don't think it's representative of what we're going to have for the rest of the season. I expect Brady to really lock in with his field awareness and keeping an eye, because I'm sure we're going to play out of the back again. But I don't see him making that mistake again right away. And that's what I'm saying. It'll probably be more solid. I think we'll come out, guns blazing, going hard, pushing, because they want to win at home, especially with Berhalter and all the Chicago Fire legends, sounding the alarm. So I think this we'll see a much better game next week or on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of similar to John with my prediction. I think, don't know if you guys watched much of DC's opening game. They drew 2-2 with Toronto, and they went ahead both times and lost the lead both times. And both teams pressed high and pressed terribly at the same time. Dealt with it terribly. The DC United had a very similar opening day to the Fire. The way that they kind of capitulated under pressure, but then also were able to hit really hard and well. So I think, yeah, high pressure from both teams. We're going to see a really, really stupid goal again, and at least one red card. Probably Turan.
What's your prediction?
3-1 Fire. I think Bamba gets a goal and 2 assists. Turan will forget to mark Benteke for their one goal, and he'll score that chance. I think that's it.
Joe?
Yeah.
4-1 Fire. It'll be a Kuiper's hat trick with a late goal from I don't know, Bamba.
Love that. I'm going. I have an optimistic 3-2 Fire. I think that could easily be flipped. This is where you guys can roast me a little more if you want, but I believe in it. There's a chance he doesn't play, but I'm saying if he plays, this is a Chris Mueller breakout game. I think there's a real chance that injury is something that's going to take him more than 12 months to come back from, and we see him flourish in this system. I don't know if it's like prime vintage Chris Mueller, but I think it could be better than anything we've gotten in Chicago thus far. And if he doesn't, then I think no matter what happens in either direction, story of this game will end up being Carlos Terán, because he will either shut down Christian Benteke like he did against Miami a few years ago, where we had him kind of as that roaming guy just to stalk whoever was up front, or because he lost him multiple times and Benteke lit us up.
Before Joe goes nuts, because in case you're listening on Spotify or Apple, he's literally like cradling like a baby right now. The man just had a baby, so I'm not interested in like completely roasting him.
His wife had a baby, not him.
True.
He had a baby. Okay, Chris Mueller had a baby. Congratulations. That being said, I don't think his grand re-entrance into being good again is at the 10. I don't see it.
I don't expect him to play the 10. I would expect Zinkernagel to play the 10 and him to play on the right, just to be clear.
That's an important clarification that I was misinterpreting, so I appreciate that. And so I'm going to actually change my statement from I don't see him coming back to being really that good again at all. So, Joe, over to you.
He was never that good. It's like it was nothing.
You're wrong
was ever
there.
that good.
You're wrong.
I'm not. I am
You are.
not. He was okay. He was fine on Orlando, but like he came here, he didn't do anything. There was nothing spectacular that he did. Absolutely nothing. So it's like him coming back. Oh, he's going to return to greatness.
He's 28.
He's going to. I don't care how
He's
old
in
he
his
is. One, he's
physical
from Schaumburg. One, he's from Schaumburg, and 2, I don't like him. But like the whole thing is like
he couldn't get into the Hibs team. A terrible Hibs team.
Exactly. But like
That
he
form he was in at the start
good.
was the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, but like he was never good. And to think that he's going to come in and have this great big thing and the injury ruined it. All the injury did was make a slightly average player below average. That's all it did. He was never that good. You shouldn't have expectations of him coming back and being great. There's not going to be any breakout. If anything, he's going to get hurt again.
I said he was going to break out. I didn't say he was going to be great. Okay.
What? Yeah. What he's going to do? Break out of Soldier Field and break into the unemployment line? Like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's gonna break out in acting. God,
the man just had a child.
Yeah,
no, I think. Look,
congratulations to you. Congratulations to Chris Mueller on having a baby.
I think in a system that
look forward to being a father one day
creates easy chances for the striker. Do I think Christopher Mueller could have 9 assists this year?
No, because he won't
depending
play
on playing time. Depending like how good did Philip Zinkernagel look last week? Not very.
Looked better than Chris Mueller.
Chris Mueller didn't play. He was busy supporting his wife in the birth of their child.
That's poor logic. Come on, don't make me agree with John here. I really don't want to have to do
he's
that.
Not.
I'm not saying. Look, I think there's an opportunity for it. I think clearly Greg doesn't rate Marin. Otherwise, we wouldn't have brought in Zink, right?
I disagree.
There's way bigger needs. There's we need a lot more. I'm saying.
Yes,
but
Greg also understands.
You could have brought in 2 guys to back up Marin.
No, Greg understands that you need to have 3 capable wingers on a team bare minimum, and that's what we have now. The fact that we have Marin coming off the bench is a benefit for our club.
We actually don't
Marin's
even know
a quality
that he's
player.
Come off the bench. To be fair,
he's totally going to come off the bench.
The only reason that Chris Mueller is an option for us right now is because nobody would take him.
All right, Matt,
nobody would take him.
Give us your score prediction.
We had to use our buyouts.
Yeah, you just got to let him, get it through his system.
We could have used the buyout on Mueller. We chose not to. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Matt, go to your predictions and just gets looped back into it. My goodness, bunch of children here. I'm going 3-1 Fire, like I said 20 minutes ago, because I spoiled my answer and didn't look at the outline. Once again, it's going to be the Bamba game. No Guti means Bamba is going to have the big time step up, because that midfield is most likely, my prediction is going to be the defensive route as opposed to using a Cassano or Harold Osorio route, because I think we want to preserve those for when the U.S. Open Cup's in play and maybe there's too many matches in the fold. And I think Bamba's going to have 2 goals, then Jack Elliott off a corner, which I believe I said on the Bonfire last week. But that's my formal prediction, and it's totally not going to be right. Probably all of ours won't be right, because on the Bonfire we all predicted similar score lines for a win in Columbus and then lost 4-2. So we don't actually know anything, as Joe and John and Paul have proven. Paul just because he's a Celtic fan, which proves he doesn't know anything. Anyways, John, I'm going to kick it over to you to kick off our community take segment. But yeah, John, go ahead. I'll let you talk.
I do want to say really quick in support of Paul, fuck Rangers. Let's just get that out of the way. The only Rangers we support here play in Queen's Park. Okay. Anyway, so John Cause, he said 2 I think are really interesting. 1, the Fire will have multiple players with double-digit goals this season, and 2, we'll have nearly double our point total from last season, and our wonderful producer decided not to put in what the point total from last season was. So let me look that up really quick.
This is where I missed DJ on the Bonfire, because he would have that number up instantly.
We had 34 points. No, we had 30 points last year. You gonna think we're going to have 60 points, bud?
That's crazy, yeah.
That would have been good for third. Only to Miami and Columbus in the East. And 5th in the league.
Replace Tehran and it's possible.
So
Tehran's the key.
I think multiple double-digit goal scorers is super possible. I think we could have as many as 3, right? I think that's super on the board. And I think if you talk double-digit goal assists, I think that's 5. Like, I think it's going to be – I think that we're going to score a lot of fucking goals is basically what I'm saying. I think we're also –
Wait. You said we're going to have 5 people that have double-digit assists?
No, goal contributions.
Oh, goal contributions total. I'm like, assists, that'd be crazy. But I agree with you. I think Hugo, I think Bamba, and I'm starting to lean Guti, but that's just because he's 20% there after just one game. So like a statistics, like I'm gambling, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And then of course Andrew Gutman.
There, he's all the way there.
Yeah, and my hot take, and I'm saying Andrew Gutman, and I know, Matt, Andrew Gutman, whatever. But if you saw Joe, I'll hear from you in a second. But just are you clapping your hands in agreement? We'll get to that.
I love Andrew Gutman.
if you saw the way he clearly fit into that play style against Bamba, he's going to greatly benefit from having Bamba next to him, or not next to him, but in front of him. He had 3 shots on goal, granted no shots on goal, but I think he's going to have those opportunity, which further validates my point that I believe he's going to have more goal contributions than Dean. And I know I glaze Gutman. I know that's my bit, whatever, but I would not be surprised genuinely to see him hit 5-10 goals this season. All I'm saying, Paul, I feel like you're itching to say something.
Yeah, I just want to take it back to the last episode when I was saying that I think Bamba's going to score more goals than Kuipers this season, and I brought up a wider point about how the typical number 9 role is kind of dying in modern football right now, and the load is shared between the front three almost, and I think that's what we're kind of seeing. But what's even better is we're seeing Guti getting in on the scoring as well, so we could have like a front four almost all getting double digit goals. I think that's entirely possible this year.
Paul, I want to piggyback off that. I think there's a very real possibility Jonathan Bamba has 20 assists and less than 5 goals. I think because he's just going to eat out there. He's going to pull space, and I think he's just going to feed people all year.
Yeah, he's going to give them all to Gutman.
Shut up.
Shut
up.
Exactly.
Right.
On the overlap, it's fair.
We're moving on.
I gotta say, no, real quick.
We're not talking Andrew Gutman.
No, I'm not talking Gutman. In the chat, Ryan says 2 hot takes, and I just want to very quickly go over these because they're interesting to me. We'll just do like yes or no responses very quick. Sorry, John. The Fire will lead the league in goals scored and goals conceded. Thoughts? Goals scored and conceded. Totally possible in my head.
Definitely possible. I think more likely top 5 in both.
Joe Paul?
I think they're going to lead the league in goals, and we're going to lead the league in clean sheets.
Chris Brady Glaze, love it.
I just think, just the clean sheets. I think we'll lead the league in clean sheets, but nah, not in the goals and stuff. Not with Messi in this league right now.
I think it's more likely we have 0 clean sheets than we lead the league in clean sheets, just for what it's worth.
Is it Paul?
Is your league in sheets?
Is your Brady Glaze because he's destined to be the starting goalkeeper for Scotland?
I would have said this otherwise. I mean, I'm holding out for the Scotland news. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, that'd be sick. The other thing that Ryan says in chat is the Fire would have made the playoffs last year if Triple G was the coach as a 7 or 8 seed. Joe's nodding his head yes. Fuck it, I agree with it. John's head nodding yes.
I think they're a play-in team, but I think if we don't make even the play-in this year, I think that's a massive failure.
100%.
Like, even if you don't make the actual playoffs, you have to be in position. Like, it would be a failure, unless they win the cup somehow. In which case, like, fair enough, you won a trophy, that's fine.
We were good enough last year. We were good enough the year before to make the playoffs if we had quality coaching.
Moving on, we had another hot take from a listener. This one is insane, and I think we're all just going to probably say you're crazy and then move on. They said, I predict that Brian Gutierrez will have more goals and assists than Messi. Preseason showed his ability to do this. I mean, game 1 definitely showed goal scoring. Does anybody think this is possible? Because I don't.
100%. It's going to happen.
ACLs aren't forever, bro.
Okay, barring a catastrophic injury.
Nah, I can't see it at all.
Yeah, I agree. I also don't see it. But the way that John's gone cold to hot on Guti, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden he says he agrees with this statement and Guti would have more. But I don't think he actually will.
Whatever.
I'm just being mean. I'm just being mean.
Dino Czar said, I think if the Fire... Oh my God, I didn't read this before I looked at it. I got to be honest with you guys. I think that if the Chicago Fire are able to get HoloLive's Narissa Ravencroft to just even send a tweet in support of the Chicago Fire, then we will automatically win MLS Cup due to the power of the HoloLive buff we will receive. This is based entirely on nothing but my own delusional mind and the fact that I can't think of any good hot takes besides, wow, guys, we might be good. What the What?
I've never felt so old in my life.
Dude, I watch anime. Like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
look at this. Jiggly requesting to speak after the anime question is incredibly on brand.
Okay. I do want to say, Dinozar also says, see you guys at the home opener, maybe. Come find me at the home opener and explain to me what the fuck that was. Please. Also, yeah, if you're at the home opener, come say what's up. That would be very cool. Always nice to meet new people. Does anybody want to talk about that? Sorry.
We're gonna throw Jiggly in here, and I'm sure Jiggly will have something to say to it. But I'm interested to hear their takes. Hang on,
Excellent.
let's see what we got. Jiggly, you're on. Hello, Jiggly.
Hi, from Incheon. I'm
yeah.
already set up. I've got my Patrick Kane jersey over the mirror and a Chicago flag up. But
That's the
first
wrong
of all, I just
jersey.
want to say what?
He plays for the Detroit Red Wings.
Ignore him. Go
Praise
ahead,
be to
Jiggly.
he.
Only
Ignore him.
it's the only Hawks jersey that I have. Also, I would like to have a Wings jersey. Actually, I would like a Gordie Howe jersey. Anyway, the thing that I was gonna say, first of all, to explain what was said from Dinostar, there is actually math behind this because the other two teams that got random shoutouts from Hololive characters won their respective championships that season. In the MLB, the LA Dodgers had a Hololive night. They won the MLB Champion World Series. And in the NFL, on a random tweet, one of the members of Hololive said, "Yay, go Eagles, they can win the Super Bowl." Just they didn't even know what they were saying. And the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Oh,
There
that's
is
what
something
this
to the
is.
fact that both of those teams were awesome before that.
Well, actually, no. I would say that there were some concerns about the Eagles going into the first half of the season. Anyway,
True.
the other thing that I was gonna say, I was gonna bring in like my extra hot takes on this, which is to agree about we gotta wait for it, but I think that was probably the best fire offense fire attack that we've seen in forever. Truly,
Agreed.
I think that once they finish that defense, it's gonna be fine. But I think that once we get like a healthy Kuipers, I will instead of John, I will admit that I was wrong about Goody. He found that dog in him, but we got to see that more consistently because he has shown up once in a while. Once in a while, he shows up with good games and then he like falls off again. So we'll have to see. We can't see it this week, but we'll see next week if he's going to be able to do that. And I think that the other thing is Tehran may not have ever been like truly good, but I think that we were all saying that he was in hopes that it would get other teams to sign him because his main thing is he really wants to go to Europe still, and I don't think he's got a chance anymore. I don't think he's got that chance, and I think unfortunately he is probably an MLS lifer. I think that he definitely had a bad night and could still be considered MLS starting quality, but I don't think that like he's ever going to move on if he keeps making mistakes like that. I think I've seen him make a lot of good physical plays, which is what you need in MLS.
Yeah.
But there have been very few times where I've seen him do something and I think that is a smart defender, not that is a good physical defender.
Yeah. Thank you for
reasonable.
Jiggly, we're going to keep it moving and we will talk about that, but thank you for joining and giving your take.
I was going to mention real quick because you were saying about where you guys were. I'm going to be on a phone at the Barn Burners table at the home opener. So see you guys there.
Love it. Jiggly is also
Jiggly
is in Korea if you guys missed it, but Jiggly, enjoy yourself. Stay safe
bye.
too. Yeah, no, I think they were talking again, Soccer Wise podcast, but they were talking about Kamal Miller today, and Kamal Miller is Carlos Tehran is just Chicago Fire's Kamal Miller. It's like, the idea of Carlos Tehran is incredible. He's 6'4" and he's super strong and fast. He's just not good at soccer. Which Tehran's probably going to score 4 goals on Saturday. Now that I said that, but whatever.
Also, Kamal Miller is better than Carlos Tehran was as an MLS player.
Yes, but he's also like not what he should have been. Is the point?
That's fair.
Carlos Tehran is also extremely handsome.
He's a good-looking guy. We didn't talk about how Tom Barlow is hot when we did the hot players last time. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, because he sucks.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. He's very good looking.
I had a friend at the luncheon. They're like, "Do you know who this guy is?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's like pretty hot. I was like, "You're not wrong." I was like, "Handsome guy." Anyway, moving on. Render said, if possible, Fire should host U.S. Open Cup home match. Oh, should the Fire host U.S. Open Cup home matches at Soldier Field or at SeatGeek, and why? Hot take here. I think they should host them at SeatGeek. I like the shitty vibes of that. You know what I mean? And I say that as someone who lives in Berwyn, so I think that's okay for me to call it shitty. Like, I like that like other teams have to deal with that.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't like to gatekeep the Fire, although I feel like some of the fans in our community do. But it's really nice at US. No. It's really fun at SeatGeek games on like a Wednesday night against a Chicago House level team where it's just like the nutty diehards and we just go bananas. So if you're like a casual fan listening to this or someone who wouldn't spend your Wednesday night in Bridgeview, also John and Joe just drank water at the exact same time and that freaked me out. Sorry. What I was saying was if you're a casual fan, come to one of these Wednesday Open Cup games in Bridgeview. I guarantee you the experience will be better than like a Saturday night game against Charlotte at Soldier Field. That's my hot take. So I love it at SeatGeek, and I'm glad that Joe agrees with me.
Joe and Paul, before I let you get your points in, guys, don't forget, raise your hands in the chat. We will get you in if you want to chat with us. If you don't, that's cool too. Feel free to drop them in the YouTube chat. Reminder, we are not looking at the Discord chat. We are only looking at Discord to let people in to speak. You can put takes in the YouTube chat if you want us to shout those. Joe or Paul, hop back.
I just want to.
Oh, they're fighting.
I want to put a vote in because they're great options. Matt, I agree with you. Those Open Cup games last year, even in the rain, were fantastic. But I would much rather to do it in our own stadium. And I know it's not an option right now. I just want it to be the option. And I know it's in the works. I just want to know more about it.
Yeah.
Tell us
breaking
something,
news.
please, Joe.
Oh, it's my turn now. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Well, no, I love going to I'm gonna call it Toyota Park because I will gatekeep the fire. How much fun it is because I mean you get closer to the action a little bit, and it's so quiet when they're there, and you can just shit talk the players, and they're right there. And like last year, last year Elliot Collier was such a good sport because we were roasting him the entire game against Indy 11, and it was a blast.
That was fun.
We had kids joining in. It was amazing, and like that's why I like going to Bridgeview to watch these games and not Soldier Field because you don't get that. Like it's just so great.
Yeah, after that Indy 11 game last year, Elliot Collier even came up after the game and commented on like just all our banter with the players. Like we just roasted them because we knew we were going to get smoked, and we did. So it was just like we just roasted every time Collier got the ball. We just roasted the shit out of him, and he took it well. It was a fun experience. It was like an honest football experience. I thought.
We didn't get. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm just saying it's like I love that when he came by and said great job and everything, we all clapped for him. We're like, it was good to see you, whatever. And it was like we knew it was good hearted. Like there was nothing mean about it. It was just like we're gonna roast you because it's fun.
And all I got to say is we didn't get destroyed by Indy 11. We lost respectively. John, over to you.
Yeah. I don't have anything to say. We're bringing somebody in now, right?
Oh yeah. Skyway.
Skyway in.
Welcome. Yeah, I just invited him to speak.
From son to
Let's see if
father.
it works. Skyway.
Howdy, gentlemen.
Let's go.
Hello
What's
to
up,
you,
work?
sir.
Yeah, it works. I hope
You
I
know
don't
what?
get
I
kicked
don't
out
have
of
my
you again.
camera.
That's okay.
You
Oh
do?
my goodness.
There he is.
There I am.
There he is.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. I got
How are
a
ya?
couple of bones to pick with you guys.
Okay.
Hey,
Great.
I'm scared.
all right. And Matt knows I've watched Andrew Gutman since he was like a sophomore at IU. All right. And he's a very good soccer player. He's very good at soccering. The one thing he cannot do, if his life depended on it, is defend the fullback position. Okay? Now, in Sir Alex's 4-4-2, he'd be the perfect left midfielder. Bomb forward, help out in the back. And Wilfred Nancy figured this out right away. And I bring it up a lot when I watch games is, hey, you know, if the fullback's coming forward and hurting you, attack behind him.
Yes.
And that's what they did. Okay.
You know, Skyway,
that-
can I say something to you real quick?
Sure.
You're right. His worst attribute is defending. He is
defending.
Yeah, man defending. He's a better fit in like a wingback role where he could get up the pitch more and doesn't have to focus on the defensive aspect as much. And I just want to put it out for the record that I said something negative about Andrew Gutman. So thank you, Skyway, for giving me that opportunity. Please continue.
I just want to put in the record that every
Okay,
time
and
I
I'm
say we
old
should
and I
play a back
sorta
five, Matt
forgot-
yells at me.
I'm sorry, John.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, and the second thing is Chris Brady. If he hopes to play for the U.S., Scotland, or any team in Europe, he cannot hang out Sergio Orgal in his own box with a hospital ball.
Yeah. No,
This is
1,000,000%
Now,
agree.
fair. Yep.
he's not a rookie. Okay. This is what, his third year as starter? Can't do that. Okay. I like that, Joe. Yeah, that matches my mood. My thing is these guys, we finally got someone. When they're in trouble in the back, just hoof at the Bamba. He's got a decent chance of winning it or drawing a foul or doing something good with it. You know, I mean, it's just don't screw around. You guys aren't good enough to play it out of the back right now.
Keywords
So-
right now. Hopefully in 4 months, Brady can make that pass to Sergio, who has, 12 games under his belt, and we don't have to worry about it. But I agree with you. The backup option of hoofing it direct, like someone mentioned earlier, to Bamba is like right now probably a better decision because his speed is
Or
nuts.
Brady doesn't make that pass.
That too. Like that. I
Yeah.
hear you. Skyway cooking per usual.
Skyway, thank you
Okay,
for
thank you, gentlemen. See you Saturday. It's too damn cold for me. I'm not going to stick around for long, probably, and certainly Mama don't want to stick around. But we want to be there for jigs and all that. And see you.
thanks again.
See you, Skyway.
Yeah, totally agree with that. By the way, he
Yeah.
really kind of put him in a bad spot, and I understand Chris Brady is 20, right? But at a certain point, you are kind of, even though you're not the captain, in a sense, a leader of the team, right? You're the
Yeah.
one kind of directing traffic. You can't leave your guys like that. Yeah, I was disappointed with that a little bit. And it wasn't his fault, but it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like running a read option and handing it off when you got 7 linebackers right there. It's like, it's not your fault that he fumbled, but come on, you could have made a better decision. Anyway, anybody else before we move?
Yeah, on taking it back to Gutman, I love the guy as well, even though he didn't play much for Celtic, if at all. But one thing that really annoyed me during that game, just watching it from the stadium, I had a good view of exactly where he was defending for much of the game. And he kept getting caught out by that quick, they'd play the quick pass on the inside, and then the guy in the middle would send the ball through ball to the corner flag, and the winger would just chase after it. And they beat Gutman with that so many times on Saturday. And it was really pissing me off. He needs support. If that's what they're going to keep hitting him with, we need to give him a little bit of support. If he can't defend that, you should know. You've played with this guy all pre-season. You should know he struggles getting back. So let's try and sort this out. And that's why we really need to fix this back line. We just really have to do it.
Well, and you got, especially when he's playing with Dean, it's like you've got one guy who, I mean, I'm not like super high on Gutman. You guys know that, but like you got one guy who can't defend, and you have one guy who can't play forward and isn't like great at defending. Like he's normally in the right spot. He just isn't always great man on man. So it's like really limits. It just puts a lot of pressure on both center backs when you're playing in a back four with 2 guys on the wing who are just not true fullbacks, right? I mean, Jonathan Dean's a true fullback, but he's not quite the quality you want there. What, Matt?
I was just going to say, and that's why I think Barroso is going to add an excellent element to this team because we saw in preseason his speed and ability to get up. But when I was doing my nerd research about who this guy was, because I didn't know him, a lot of the Sporting CP Portugal fans were like really disappointed to see him leave because he was great on one-on-one situations in the back. So although he's a kid, apparently he can cook those wingers with his speed and with his strength for such a small guy. So, Dean's not going to start the whole season. Gutman will be able to kind of play a little bit more up when on the flip side, you have a guy who is definitely technically better at defending. But we'll see in practice if that actually works or if John's 5 back is eventually going to come to vision.
I think we're all underestimating how much Jonathan Dean is going to play this year. I think Barroso might be more of a next year kind of guy.
No
Maybe
way.
he'll come in and be awesome. He's 19. Like how likely is it that he shows up and is ready day one to be an MLS defender? I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. I don't know. I hope he is. That'd be awesome. But if you told me Jonathan Dean started 20 games this year, I wouldn't be shocked.
Jiggly says Dean should be considered break in case of emergency, and I agree. I would take the raw talent of a 19-year-old who's new to the league over Dean, but
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but if he's
got it.
worse in both facets, like you can't just trust raw talent.
Fair enough.
Jonathan Dean does have a floor. I'll say that. Like a 19-year-old who
He's
just got
also
here might
reached
not.
his ceiling, so
Yeah, but a floor. Yeah, but it's kind of two different. Anyway, we'll move on. We don't need to talk about fullbacks for 45 minutes. Matt and I can do something. We'll do a separate podcast where we just talk about Chicago Fire fullbacks.
that'd be
Anyway,
great.
number one, Carlos Terran enthusiast. Tough week to be that guy. In their prime, who's one former player you would choose to play for the team and why? Is this in their prime? Do you guys want to do in their prime with the Fire or just in their prime ever?
With fire.
Okay, well, you were very specific on that.
Yeah,
I
just because
would-
I have my, I know.
I would add a second Jonathan Dean. Matt, you go ahead.
I'm just not going to acknowledge that. I have two answers. One is David Akam. I think pairing him up with Bamba on the other side, at that point you can't dedicate two defenders to Bamba when Akam is just as fast on the other side. He was our best player for a season. And the second one is Chris Armas, because I feel like we could genuinely benefit from having a destroyer-like guy, even though I was too young to see him play. Like to have him in the midfield, a guy as respected as that, when we're so like we don't have that much midfield, and a lot of our 8s and 6s are either new to the league or 19 years old outside of Kellen Acosta. Having a guy like him in the midfield would really shape us up. And he's also a captain. Like that's a captain quality. Those are my two answers. Joe?
Georgi Mihailovic, and I will say no more. That's
Dub.
exactly. I mean, that's
W.
perfect. That's it.
I'd
W.
go-
Go ahead.
I would go. I forgot his name now. Mike McGee. I think he would fit in this team pretty well.
Yeah.
Let me ask you
I mean-
this. Over Hugo Kuipers or in partnership with Hugo Kuipers?
Definitely over Tom Barlow, and maybe on a game to game basis.
Yes,
okay, we're
Paul.
playing this team. We're playing this
Mike-
team this week. We're playing Mike McGee. We're playing this team. Okay, we'll get Kuipers up there. Oh, let's do our front two this week. I think
Paul,
it's too big.
Mike McGee was an MVP of the league. Of course he's going to start over Tom Barlow.
I just
Come on
wanted to
now.
reiterate for people that
Okay.
maybe didn't watch that season. That was my first season as an MLS
Paul
fan. I love that guy.
Paul thinks Mike McGee and Tom Barlow are level with each other. That's all I'm hearing.
Hear me out. This one is. I'm not going historical here, but I think this is actually a solid choice. Give me a second Kellen Acosta. Give me two Kellen Acostas in the midfield.
Fine with
I
me.
think that would actually fuck. Like, forgive me, that sounded weird as I said it back, but you guys know what I mean. Like, I think like that midfield would be fucking awesome. Like, maybe not incredible, maybe not like the best thing you've ever seen, but like week in week out, just incredible 180 minutes of Kellen Acosta. Keeping it moving. Your mom says Berhalter ball will not work. We might have the talent, but we lack the ability to play inspiring football. It will be another season of no playoffs, mark my words. I didn't understand the comment of we have the talent, but we lack the ability to play inspiring football. I mean, you could just say Berhalter ball isn't inspiring football, but I don't even know if I agree with that. I don't know. Anybody feel strongly? I just disagree. Like, I don't even think you're that. Okay, Matt, what?
I'll let Paul go first.
No, yeah, I completely disagree. I think it's too early to even say that, considering we've not even had half of his actual first team play yet, and we're only one game in. So I think it's kind of too early to make that call. Matt?
Yeah, no, Berhalter ball is going to be fine. This is an emotional take because we lost 4-2. It was all over Twitter, and I blocked people on Twitter because of it, because I don't want to hear it. It's way too early in the season to do this. Happy to be roasted halfway through the season if Berhalter ball still sucks. But the fact that we have a genuine identity is something that we have not had since, I'm going to trigger this whole fan base, Veljko Paunovic. We didn't have it under Wiki. We didn't have it under Ezra. And we certainly didn't have it under Frank. You could see the vision. The vision is new, but you could see it. Your mom is right. Arai says your
on.
mom is right in chat.
We
naturally.
were potatoes under Ezra. That's an identity. Okay.
No, it's not, but it's a great throwback reference to Ezra. But Berhalter Ball will be fine. It succeeded at the MLS level before. It's made the strikers good. It's gotten a team to the MLS Cup, and it was the shitty Columbus Crew, but that doesn't matter. And it will be fine. We will be okay.
All of the world's biggest Greg Berhalter haters still. I don't know how crass I can get on here. We've never really discussed. All the biggest Berhalter haters in the world are still glazing Gio Reyna because of what he did for that guy's career. Let's be clear. Like,
Right.
yeah, and it's like I don't know that his play is going to be particularly inspiring, but I think what he does do is put really talented attackers in awesome positions to make incredible plays. So I feel good about it. I think, like I said, I think this year is low end playoffs. Maybe we win a round if everything kind of falls in line. But to your point, Matt, I think maybe to Paul's point, excuse me, that probably falls in line in a month or two. This might be a rough March and April, given the availability issues we're having. What's up, man?
I just got to say before we continue, I don't like battling with people in chat, but it's a rise, so I don't actually mind. He says, it's been one game. How can you say we have an identity? If you watched that Columbus game and could not identify an identity, you don't know ball. That's all I'm saying.
That game was bad, but we were playing the same way for 85 minutes.
You can see the game plan. Like the last 2 seasons, you couldn't see a game plan. You just saw players trying to finish a game. But you saw these players, we're losing, but we're still sticking to this plan because this is how we get better.
I love you, Orion. I love you, Orion.
I've shouted them out 2 times already, but I'm going to say it again. Like, it's not like if it were just the 4 of us sitting here saying this, I'd be like, okay, maybe we should, a little confirmation bias. Like, that is something that like actual national soccer pundits are sitting around a table telling each other like, oh, these guys have a plan. It's not working yet, but they have a plan. They have an identity. We know who they are. And say what you will, it wouldn't be called Berhalter ball if Greg Berhalter wasn't known for it. Like if it wasn't his style of play, right? Anywho, Joe, go ahead.
Joe?
Okay. Arrive, first off, this is why you get blocked. I don't want to hear you whining on my couch saying, oh, Matt blocked me, I don't know why. This is why you get blocked. And yes, the Fire do have an identity. They played all 90 minutes. It wasn't sitting back and doing whatever. It's like what everybody said. They stuck to it, and they were trying to get better throughout the entire game. Arai, I hate you. I hate that you're my friend, and I hate you. But yes, the Fire will make the playoffs. They have the talent. They have the ability to do all this. We'll be a good team. We're not going to be great. There's great. I think it gets deeper into the playoffs. We're good. We're good enough.
Right, you're going to have to reconsider who the groomsmen at your inevitable wedding's going to be, just to let you know after that rage. And I'm more than happy to step in. That's all I'm saying.
Bold of you to assume.
Yeah, bold of me to assume.
Obviously, it's going to be me and Sparky and no one else.
100%.
Moving on. Marshy, I feel like I see Marshy.
Oh, wait, hey,
roasted.
John, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we do have a speaker.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Sorry, Marshy, if you're listening.
This is Josh. Josh, I'm inviting you to speak right now.
Do we have
Come
a
on in,
Josh?
No, we don't have a Josh on there.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Good to see y'all again.
Likewise.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here.
What's up? What are you thinking?
Honestly, just a quick question for y'all. Honestly, looking more into the future within the summer window, from the top of y'all's heads, like, who would you love to see come to the Fire in the summer?
It's a good question. Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I would actually love to see. You guys are gonna kill me if I'm getting this name wrong, but Chris Richards. I mean, just what we saw. Paul's idea of a DP or a high paid player on the back line. Kind of love that idea. He's playing well at Crystal Palace. I feel like every time I see him doing something, he's doing it well. Or a Cameron Carter-Vickers if he's. I don't watch Celtic enough to know how much time he's getting, but would love to see one of those guys pop over to MLS and be Jack Elliott's partner.
Go ahead, Joe.
I was about to say Christopher Jeffrey Richards. I love him. As much as it would pay me to see him leave a Premier League team and come to us just this early in his career, he would cook in MLS. I love him so much. Yes.
Yeah. Can I just say, I would love to see an American player leave the Premier League and come to MLS. MLS, if you want to pay me to be a shill, I will, because I don't understand why that would be bad. That would be great on all accounts. Sorry, Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, just taking it back. I'm going back centre back. We might not even need to use up a DP slot to get him. Probably will. Jason Denier.
I was going to say that. Hell yeah, we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a solid defender. I mean, I said last time when he was at Celtic, he looked so much better than Virgil van Dijk at the time. Obviously, we all knew that Virgil had a better ceiling, but a higher ceiling. But Denier was just a solid defender at a young age. He's had a good career so far. I think last I heard he was in Saudi. Might be a free agent at this point.
He's a free agent now, yeah.
Free agent. Go get the guy. Say, how much do you want? Come live in Chicago. Paul show you around. Just do it.
I mean,
I totally agree with you. That's who I was going to say. And I think it's a more realistic option. Yes, he's a free agent. He's in his prime. But also, Chris Richards is starting on a mid-table Premier League team and probably isn't going to happen. Jack Grealish or Mark McKenzie is what Phil says in the chat, which are two very different routes to go. But Jack Grealish would be absolutely incredible. I was going to go with not the center back route, unless Jason Dunier wasn't mentioned. But I said this before, and I'll say it again. Mario Lamina is just a guy who will. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Well, you're right, and then you get
Yeah,
him,
exactly.
you sign-
He's playing for Galatasaray right now. Amazing player.
dog, absolute animal. And then all of a sudden, you go from having no depth in the midfield to having Kwame. If you end up purchasing him, Sergio, you have Pineda, you have Kellen, you have Guti, and your pool's looking pretty damn good. Paul Pogba is also a name that naturally is not throated. Wow. Sent in chat, not throated for sure. All right, I didn't block your comments, I promise. But Paul Pogba is a guy, but that guy screams like LA or like Miami or something like that. But
I do want to.
What do you think, Josh?
Josh,
go
I
ahead.
can tack on one more for you. This is not a summer window. This is like a right now. Go fucking get Julian Gressel. It's insane that they haven't already. I'll say that much.
W.
Josh,
Yeah,
give
I love
us
I
your
love it.
short
Do it.
list.
Honestly, I was gonna say the same thing as Matt did. Mario Lamina, amazing player. During the derby versus Fenerbahce just a couple of days ago, honestly, absolute dog in the back line.
Hell yeah.
The beast.
Hell yeah, brother. Appreciate the question, Josh. Thanks for joining, man.
All right, see y'all on Saturday.
See you
Thanks,
Saturday, bud.
Josh.
See ya.
All right. Unless we have one more speaker, we're gonna wrap up with this one. And this has kind of been a weirdly hot button topic. I feel like I argue about this on Twitter literally every day. Marshy, who is often the center of odd Twitter debates, I feel like. Marshy said, Tom Barlow is just overhated now. He was bad for the first half of the season, but he seems to have gotten his shit together and he gets chances and hits the target. He isn't Kuipers, and for some reason, half of the fan base shits on him for that. Is he mid? Yes. Was he unconfident for most of last year? Yes. But this year, he is a perfectly capable backup striker. Kutsia still solos him, but Barlow doesn't take up the same roster designations, which U22 and an international spot. Paul, Joe had his hand up first, so Joe, why don't you start?
What have you been watching? He hasn't done anything. Oh, he's confident now? He was never confident. Every time he'd come in, it's like a John Espinosa situation. Like, oh, well, I guess we're giving up now. That's exactly how it feels. He's done nothing, and you're a terrible take, and I hope you never, I'm just kidding, please give us more takes, but never do a take again.
Yeah, I completely agree with Joe. And at the stadium at the game on Saturday, when we all heard that Tom Barlow was coming on, we all just felt like, oh, there goes the game. He's never shown us once that he can do anything, and it wasn't just last year that he wasn't confident. New York fans celebrated so much when he was finally off of their roster. They were so happy to get rid of him. He was terrible there. He's been terrible everywhere, as far as I know. I've not really looked into it. But he's not shown us anything. He showed nothing at the weekend, and he's just not good enough. It's just not good enough.
See, like, I don't get this. Like, in a perfect world, is he your backup striker? No. Is he perfectly fine for the shape of this team? Yes. Like, I don't get it. He doesn't make money. Like he's on like what, $220,000? It's a lot of money, but like in the MLS roster scheme of things, it's not. He's fine. If,
but
like,
where's his goals? There's nothing.
he's not meant to score goals.
He's a
Like,
striker.
that's not his job.
What is he supposed to do?
He's a
Why
backup
are we putting
striker.
him in?
He's supposed to come on and press and maybe tap one in every now and then. Guys, if you're,
If
you're missing the point. If we're if we are
He-
relying on Tom Barlow to score goals, if that's what makes or breaks this season, we're fucked anyway.
Nobody's
fucked
saying to
anyway.
rely on it. The whole point of a backup striker is you don't have to rely on them, but sometimes you do need to bring them in if you're not getting a goal in a game, a different option to pounce at the defense. There is another option. He just hasn't done
so
that. He's not tapping them in. He's not banging in screamers. Where's
then
the
I would
assists?
ask-
He's just done nothing.
Can I ask that? First of all, he is tapping in. Second of all, can I ask which move would you have rather we didn't make? Which move would you have replaced from this window with getting a new striker and getting rid of Tom Barlow? Which move?
I mean, there's a lot of strikers. I don't know.
No, but I'm saying like which player that we brought in
Kutsias?
would you replace with a new? Kutsias was ass too. What are
Kutsias
we
is
doing?
Better than Barlow.
No, he wasn't.
Rudy Diaz
he was
available?
just
Well, he was.
faster.
Wild.
He
Wild.
would, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I loved him as a
He
prospect.
wasn't a better striker.
had-
He was just faster and scored more goals.
He had one move. He had one move, and he did it every time he touched the ball. Like
Choke.
basically, he would do that little step over to his outside foot and then miss. That was all he did.
I got two things to say. One, Kutsias would fuck on this roster with the boys around him. Barlow will not fuck on this roster. And second of all, if the argument's being made that Barlow is a fine backup striker, is paired up with the sentence he's not meant to score goals, then he's not a good backup striker. He is a fine third striker.
You're twisting
Fine
the
third
intent
striker.
of my words.
Nope, I'm just saying
What?
exactly what you
That's
said.
exactly what you said.
No,
Hey.
my point is that
Flip
if
it.
we are relying on Tom Barlow to score goals for this team to do anything, we're fucked no matter what. That's
It's
my
not
point.
relying. It's just being able to put him in the game and have the opportunity be there. There's
The
no
opportunity is still there.
Especially, there's no he doesn't have the talent to do it. Did he
Oh,
do
wouldn't
it?
it be nice
Did
if
he
you
do it
could-
in the
Oh, I'm
Red
sorry.
Bulls?
Did Hugo score
How
all
many
those
goals
goals
did he
on
have?
Saturday? No.
He was
was-
injured. It's his first game coming in.
I just would
Barlow
like to
played
say-
all offseason.
And we still score. Okay. What, Matt? What?
I would
I
just
don't
like to
care.
say,
Casper's better than
like,
Barlow.
I would like to say that if it's the 85th minute and we are down a goal and there's a substitute for Hugo, the game's already lost because Tom
Thank you.
Barlow's
Yep.
not going to get it
The
done.
game's
100%.
already lost no matter what. Who are you bringing in over your $12 million striker that you're like, oh, great, now we'll get a goal? That's not how
Giassi
that works.
Zardis, Casper Shabilko, and Kutsias, I trust way more than Tom
Rudy
Barlow.
Diaz.
Yeah,
Casper
teams all over the world have
Shabilko?
good backup
Bobby
strikers.
Wood,
No.
41-year-old
stop.
Kai Kamara,
stop.
I
Yes.
trust more than Tom
I
Barlow.
trust
Casper?
Casper Shabilko and Kai Kamara to do it. I trust because Casper can
No,
only
let's
score.
not talk about Kai Kamara.
No,
Let's
no.
not talk about
You know
Kai
why- you know
Kamara,
who
who
I
came
trust
here and
more?
was ass. Let's talk about Casper Shabilko, who
Robert
made.
Barrich.
Well,
This
yeah,
is
duh,
the
that
dumbest
one.
conversation we've ever had.
No, Robert Barrich would have
No,
cooked.
you
if Georgie
you
was
guys
still
think
here and
I
could have got the
sound
ball
bad
in.
right now?
So, yes.
Do you know how
It's
fucking
3-on-1
stupid
here,
you sound
John. You're
saying
so wrong.
Casper
You're just so
Shabilko?
wrong. I think this needs a
Casper
Twitter poll.
Shabilko.
Yes.
Are we being
100%.
serious right now?
This is
Also,
a guy who scored
I wanna,
40 goals in 3 seasons
I
with
hate-
Philly.
I
Of
hate
course,
to
I'm
keep
taking him over
Shabilko
with
Tom
and
Barlow.
Philly.
KP was so bad. I have
Okay,
no
let's-
feeling. I
let's-
don't. I
let's
feel
take a-
nothing on
let's-
Barlow.
Let's take a step back. Let's forget Casper. Can we have an honest conversation about Georgios Koutsias or no? Because we've all built
The
him
honest
into this like great
conversation is he's
mythical
better than
thing.
Tom Barlow.
Maybe one day. Right now,
Yes.
eh,
Yes. I guarantee you the community would agree as well.
I don't think bang for your buck.
right.
I think bang for your buck. It's an equal move.
That's fair. That's a fair argument. I won't argue that. For the level of production that neither of them have really done, even though Kutsias has a little bit more, pound for pound money, maybe. But I think Kutsias in this system will be way more successful than Tom
Look,
Barlow.
I
will
would
be
have
in
I would
this
have been
system.
happy if they kept him because I liked his upside. But this like rewriting of history that he was awesome, I don't get.
No, I don't think anyone's trying to make that
Said he was
argument. I think that
awesome.
if the standard isn't that he's a god, it's that he's better than Tom Barlow, which isn't that high of a standard. He's
But I
not
also
great.
think they do different things, right? Like I wouldn't have any issue if we brought in a third striker whose job was go fucking win headers in the box. Like, I'd be cool with that. I would love that. But if you're asking me, like, I feel like if we're looking for a goal in the 85th minute, that's not what this team needs right now. This team needs to set a new floor. It just does. Like, I can't be worried about what happens when we're down 2 goals in the 80th minute and we got to win this game. I got to worry about, I don't want to lose 6-0 at home again.
Even the best teams still end up chasing goals in the 80th minute. I mean, you guys all know, like, Scottish football, Celtic always win it. There's plenty of games where we are chasing a goal in the 89th minute and in the 92nd minute and we don't get it. Like, so even if you're the best team, if you're up against a good low block or you're just not clicking that day, sometimes you just need another option, and it's nice to, when that option comes on, feel like, oh, okay, maybe they can do something, but nobody feels that with Barlow, ever.
Yes, Paul, I agree with you, but that's kind of my point. Celtic is playing in Champions League, not struggling to make the playoffs in MLS. If this is next year and
That's
we
what I'm saying,
made the
it's every
playoffs,
level.
yeah, like then I'd 100. Like if he is the main 2 next year, barring some incredible developments from him, right? And we're like competing for top 3 in the East, that's a major problem. But that's not what we are right now. Let's not pretend it is. Go ahead.
Before we close out, I will say, John, Marshy has requested to speak. I'm going to grant it,
Oh,
but
God.
we're going to limit this to a minute because we've been talking about this. So, Marshy, I'm going to limit you to a minute because we got to eventually end up wrapping up. Here we go. Everyone, play nice. Marshy? All right.
That's
Floor is
fine.
yours.
That's fine. I was gonna keep it quick anyway. First off, thank you for referring to me as the guy who gets into the silly Twitter debates. If that's what I am, then I'll own it. All right. So you guys, I feel like you guys are misinterpreting that. I'm not in any way calling Barlow a good striker.
No, we
I'm
know,
saying
we
that-
know.
Yeah. If
For what it's worth.
if Kuipers is gonna be playing 90 minutes a game anyway, like he should be every single game playing 90 minutes. Then why not just have the cheap American striker backing him up that can score goals, had similar goals per minute last season as Kuipers? Look, was he bad at the beginning of last season? Yeah, he is still regaining aura from that Philadelphia Union miss. He is not, by any means, like the worst option out there. Do you want that shiny new DP center back? Do you want that shiny new DP center back? Because if you have Kutias, you do not get that shiny new DP center back. If you have Kasper Shabilko, you do not get that shiny new DP center back.
Bars.
They take up international slots. They take up international slots. You want to know who doesn't take up an international slot? You know who doesn't take up a U22 slot? Tom Barlow. So
Bars.
Barlow-
Fair argument, and I agree with the
That's
consensus. Pound to pound, like, yes, the value's there. Shitty value, but whatever. What I disagree with is in the Berhalter system, if Hugo's fully healthy, the striker presses a lot. He is consistently running around. The expectation that he should be playing 90 minutes every game is an expectation that is not going to happen in this system. And you do need a reliable striker who can come in with the intention of scoring goals to come in replace of
You
him.
know who's
Barlow
really good at
situationally,
pressing?
yeah, Barlow is, but not when you're down 2 goals and Hugo's been running around for 75 minutes.
Can I
You need
interject,
another
Matt?
striker. Please.
Yeah, I think we need to just wrap this, Marshy. Thank you. This was a good question because it got us to yell at each other or them to yell at me. I just want to say,
Welcome.
in the
That's always
past
the goal.
2 oh, sorry, go ahead, buddy.
Sorry, you're welcome. That's always the goal. Last month had a pretty dry one because I just wanted to start some conversation. So had to think of something better.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
I
Marshy.
appreciate it.
We
Um,
appreciate
you, Marchie.
I want to end the takes portion of the show with this. In the last 2 seasons, last 2 full MLS seasons, Georgios Koutsias, 7 goal contributions. Tom Barlow, 7 goal contributions. Oh, the production, like, shut up. They're the same player.
We just let him. They're the same player. Let's just not react. Let's just end on a high. We all love each other. John, you're right. You are spot
You guys
on.
heard it. Matt loves Tom Barlow.
Yeah, if you heard that out of this whole conversation, then you're awesome. This was fun. Thanks, Marshy, for ending it on a high, and John, thanks for walking us through these controversial moments. Even though you're wrong half the time. Just to remind you guys, when we're wrapping out, we're going to be going live at the end of every month. So whether it's February 27th or March 30th, whatever, you'll know 2 weeks out. We'll start posting stuff all over social media. So be sure to follow all of our platforms. If you want to listen to the show again, it'll be on YouTube, it'll be on Spotify and Apple. And the live video will hopefully be on YouTube as well. All four of us, Joe, will you be at the home opener?
No.
All three out of the four of us
Boo.
will be at the home
I'm not gonna be
opener.
at-
No, 2 out of the 4 of us will be at the home opener. I know John
guys.
will. And we'll definitely be down in the South lot hanging out. But Joe, he's raising his hand.
I just want to put it out there. I know there's been some sadness about Hazy Pitch being discontinued. Please let me tell you, Cold Time is delicious, and that's a beer you could crush with your Fire family at the entire game and have a good old time. Nothing to be upset about. It might be a hot take, but Cold Time is a delicious beer brought to you by Chicago's own Revolution Brewing.
Did
So
Revolution
enjoy,
pay
Fire
you?
fans.
Did you get a
Yeah,
brand
no.
deal and not tell us?
Yeah,
Joe-
we said
Joe
no and
ads.
yeah, no
It
ads.
is
Joe.
delicious. I love it.
No, we
free
look
ads.
forward to
It's a nice beer.
we look
I like it.
look forward to crushing Cold Time beers with you in the South lot on Saturday and the rest of the days, because hopefully at one point all 4 of us will be in the South lot together. But come say hi. You now know what we look at like if we're in the chat, and we'd love to meet you and hang out and spend time and grow the community together. Be sure, like I mentioned, to follow Men in Red 97 on YouTube. Check out our website, of course, meninred97.com, X. Tim Hutsy's tweeting a lot on Blue Sky, and of course Instagram as well. Where could we find you guys personally, Paul?
You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at CTPaul90.
Joe,
I am at Pino Tipperino.
which is new. That's a new thing, by the way. He's just trying to be edgy. John,
Yeah, it's West 3 times and all the E's are 3s. That's on Twitter.
love that. Always a classic. And then you can find me at mshabes, MSHABES, over on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, basically any social media thing, because I'm a fiend. So that's where you can find us. And just a fun little reminder at the end, we are going back to Bonfire Weekly episodes, recording Sunday for a Monday release. So start your Mondays off right with the Bonfire, in addition to all the quick fires that will be coming out all season long. And other than that, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been a pleasure to spend time with you guys, to talk to shit, talk to smack, and we're looking forward to Saturday's home opener against DC. And all we got to say to close it out is, come on, you men in red. Let's go, baby.
Vamos. Thanks, everybody.
Vamos.